So this video is about how we transcend the human condition. We transcended towards the divine condition, of course. But how we do that, and what is the human condition? Let's begin by understanding first what is the human condition. To do that, we need to understand first what is the animal condition. Animals are controlled by instinct. Let me give you an example. We have donkeys here in this farm, and the donkeys are eating all the time. You see them in the morning, they are eating. You see them in the evening, they are eating. You see them at night, they are sleeping. So either they are eating or sleeping. Their instinct for survival makes them eat and eat and eat. That's one example. That's their life is devoted to instinct. So when the time comes to reproduce, 11 months later, it's a long time, the female gets a little donkey. Very cute. Nice. But then, 2 years later, that little guy is trying to pair up with his mother. And this is completely natural for them because they are only controlled by instinct. There is no thinking in between acting and instinct. Action springs from instinct. So what happens to humans? Humans, and this is not all humans, but most humans, have a barrier between instinct and action. And that barrier is called thinking. So the human condition is characterized by thinking. And if you don't believe me, just watch your mind and you will realize that it is thinking and thinking and thinking all the time, right? So the human condition is characterized mostly by thinking. There is also emotion, of course, but to a great degree springs from thinking also. You have nice dreams here, nice images, and you feel good. You have negative images and you feel bad. So emotion to a great degree springs from all this compulsive thinking. So this is the human condition. Like it or not, that's where we are, in the human condition, which is about thinking. Quite easy to understand, that right? What is not easy is to get out of the human condition and to move on to the next level. Although some are trying to go back to the previous level, but that's a different story. I'm not going to go there because those people are really nuts. So let's look at your interest in transcending the human condition. In this state that we call the human condition, at some point you begin to realize that thinking is torturing you, right? It's not under your control. It is way beyond your control. And then perhaps you sign for a course in meditation or yoga or something that offers you a way out of thinking. And you begin to try different methods and you realize that it is quite difficult, that you cannot just quiet the mind and that's it. That you cannot have control over your thinking directly. So then perhaps you come to the conclusion that meditation doesn't work. Actually, it's not the case, and some people do get results with different techniques of meditation, and they are able to quiet down the mind somewhat. And of course, that's a great blessing. But most people don't get results with meditation. That's the truth. Most people experiment for some time with meditation and they give up. And then they go back to thinking. So now, what is it that really works here? I'm going to speak from my personal experience, which I have been into this business of transcending the human condition for a lot of years, possibly 40, more than 40. And initially I had a very restless mind, a very intense mind. It was, in a way, a sharp mind. It was useful for intellectual purposes, but it was not a quiet mind whatsoever. So I tried all the typical things, meditation, this and that. And I have to say that what makes most sense and is the easiest way out of the human condition is if you remove the attention from thinking and put it into something else, then thinking slows down. How you remove the attention from thinking? Well, in a way, you have been doing it all along. When you feel tortured by the mind, you focus into doing something, right? You go for a walk so that your attention moves towards the environment, nature, and so on. You focus into some manual work, and then attention becomes involved in the doing. And any action, any activity works in that regard and slows down the mind and brings you out from the neurosis of the mind, of thinking. So you have been doing this all along. There's nothing new. You have been shifting the attention away from the thinking and into doing something, hopefully that something that grabs your interest, grabs the attention, and then by doing that, the thinking subsides. Now, in meditation, or even in practicing the presence throughout the day, you will not find meditations that focus into doing some manual craft, although it is kind of a meditative experience to do a craft with your hands. But that's not really meditation. So, or practicing the presence. So what you do when you are meditating or when you are practicing the presence is you got to remove the attention from thinking and give it to something else. What is that something else? It's not going to be action, it's going to be something else. And that something else is the field. You can call it with different names. You could say consciousness, you can say the emptiness, you could call it whatever way you want, but in the end it is the field where thinking arises. So when attention moves away from thinking and into the field that where everything arises, then the mind quiets down by itself. Thoughts subside by itself not because you are doing it. It's because attention is not fueling thinking by not focusing into the thinking process. So what is this field? And how we can learn to do this maneuver, to remove the attention from the thinking to the field where the thinking is arising. And well, this is where Advaita is so helpful, because it gives you an understanding of this field, and it helps you to connect with this field. And once that is established, once you have recognized the presence of this field, then it's easy to step out of thinking and bring the attention to the field. So there are different techniques, methods, and pointers that help you to do this. I'm going to present here something that is very simple and quite effective, and it's called Hackalow. Hackalow is a practice that comes from the shamans in Hawaii. And some of them, in fact, devote their whole life to practice Hackalow. And with a very good reason, of course, because Hackalow, being such a simple practice, in fact, is capable of transcend, help you to transcend the human condition, no less. This human condition of being lost in thinking that has been haunting you for who knows how many lifetimes can be transcended with a technique that is so simple, but at the same time is worth devoting your whole life to it. So how Hackalow works? Choose a point on the wall in front of you and focus your attention there. And then put your fingers on the left and right of that point and begin to notice both that point in the center and both fingers. And then gradually bring your fingers outward and stay in contact with them with the attention, right? Then become aware of the whole peripheral vision around the initial center point. And keep expanding the attention until it involves also your whole body and the space all around you. Doesn't need to be cosmic space, no. Like the space around you. And that is a complete Hackalow, full Hackalow. Because partial Hackalow would be just to be aware of the peripheral vision, but complete Hackalow is the whole thing. It includes your body, everything. The space where your body is. And when you do this, thinking slows down immediately. There is no delay. And you have beginning to transcend the human condition. No less. It's like you have been in a rut for a long time, and suddenly you see a door that goes out of the rut, out of your prison. And that is what Hackalow is, no less than that. Finally, you can transcend the human condition with it, which is thinking without control. Now, when you are in this open awareness, in complete Hackalow, if something arises in that field, like a thought or a feeling, a sensation, a noise, or whatever, you don't fight it. Simply, you tell yourself that too, meaning that noise, that sensation, that emotion, whatever, that too can be encompassed in this field of awareness. So that you avoid conflict with the mental objects. They arise, fine. They are hanging in there, in this field. You can do this in a more formal meditation with cross legs and so on, or you can do it walking. You can do it while you're conversing with someone. You can do it all the time. That's the goal of the shamans in Hawaii, to do it all the time, so that they can finally transcend completely the human condition. Now, in order to do this successfully, we need to have clarity about the value and the limitations of thinking. If we have distorted beliefs here, they will be an obstacle to practice Hackalow. For example, a typical belief, especially among intelligent people, is, well, if I don't think, I will become stupid. I value my thinking because if I'm thinking, it means that I'm intelligent. And people that don't think, they are stupid. And of course, there is something true about it, right? If you don't think before acting, then you're controlled by instinct, same as animals. So in a way, people that don't think properly, they have animal traits, and they make big mistakes as a result. There is no cushion between instinct and action, and that cushion is thinking. But the mistake in this belief system that you're intelligent if you think and you're stupid if you don't, is in thinking that you need to think all the time. You don't need to think all the time. You need to think sharply and intelligently when it is necessary, but not all the time. It's like a good set of players. If you need it, you use it and then you let it go. You're not carrying the players everywhere and all the time. The mind is a tool, and it's very helpful, and it can help you to be a human instead of an animal, but you don't need to go on thinking all the time. And what you will find by practicing Hackalow, by bringing attention to the field, is that in fact thinking becomes sharper when you need it. Because now thinking is springs from the field of consciousness. So in a way, you are inspired, your thinking is inspired, and then you experience divine thoughts, thoughts that are of a higher nature. And in regard to emotions, again, emotions do have their place in life, but you don't need to be an emotional person. Emotions can be beautiful. Positive emotions are delightful. And when you see a beautiful landscape, if you feel emotion, it is okay, it is good. But to be overwhelmed by emotion all the time is not a good thing. Some people have the belief that if they don't experience emotions, then they will not be alive. They will be kind of dead. And there is something true to this, because you want to experience emotion, but you don't want to be run by emotions. Same as you don't want to be run by thought. You don't want to be run by instinct. Emotion has its place. The emotion that a poet experiences in front of a beautiful landscape is beautiful. It enhances the experience. But you don't need to be run by emotions, so that you are not reacting emotionally to everything that is happening around you. So instincts, emotions, thoughts, motivations, all these 5 mental objects, sensation that I have discussed in these videos, they all have their place. But you don't need to be run by any one of them. And that is what helps you to transcend the human condition from mind to consciousness. In the human condition, you are lost in mind, especially thinking. In the divine condition, you are anchored in awareness, in the field. And then all the other things, fine, they do play a role. But they are not running the show. At this moment, I'm in a cabin in the southern part of Chile. This area is extremely beautiful, with volcanoes and lakes, and we have this cabin available for those who want to have a spiritual retreat combined with some tourism to this area. I'm going to leave a link below. Follow the link and you will have pictures and the program itself. And if you're interested, send me an email, which you will also find in that place and also down below. And we would be delighted to have you with us. Have a good one. And I hope that this helps you to transcend the human condition. The door is called Hackalow. Giving attention to the field, withdrawing the attention from thinking. And in a way, as a friend was telling me, you always have 2 options. You can be lost in mind or resting as awareness. Getting out of the human condition means to rest as awareness.